Lieutenant Colonel Darin Gaub is with me now, U.S. Army veteran who flew Black Hawk helicopters, and sir, good day to you. When you heard that number from William there, 1,600 last year, including military installations, how do we stop this?
That's the question of the moment, right? It seems like that's just 1,600 that we know of. And I will tell you that the number of drone incursions and sightings has doubled in some sectors on the southern border, in some cases quadrupled, and that is becoming even a more significant threat down there than as often portrayed. How you stop this, in some regard, it is a measure of the law, what military bases are allowed to do, what individuals are allowed to do, law enforcement, et cetera. You have to let them know what they're capable of doing, what they're legally allowed to do, and then continue to develop the counter-UAS technologies that we're way behind on, despite having been warned about this for 20 years.
Yeah,
and
Colonel.
Unfortunately, the use of drones. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you. They're spying on us, aren't they?
They are. Absolutely, they're spying on us. And Mexico, whether it's the drug gangs or others, can spy on us from across the border in Mexico, and we can do nothing about it. And of course, with the incursions across the border, with the illegal alien invasion that's moved in, these people are flying drones over top of our military installations. And if they don't cross the fence line, they're looking into these bases from the edges, trying to see whatever vulnerabilities they can find and exploit.
Yeah, it's remarkable. Here's the Joint Chiefs of Staff Admiral, we heard from a moment ago. More now, watch.
We know that cartels have used UAS for unauthorized surveillance to assess our troop size, our movements, to solicit and enable attacks from other vectors. That is where the bulk of our counter-UAS capability is actually located, is overseas. And hence the problem here in the homeland is we have very limited and sparse and distributed capability across the multitude of installations we have.
That's a remarkable thing to hear. So the cartels are running them. Do you know of a single incident where we've shot one of those drones out of the sky, as we suspected them to be operated by the cartels to run money, to run drugs and run people?
Yes, it has happened. Not getting into specifics, of course, but in many cases, it's shotguns is one way of doing that if it's a smaller, lower altitude type of thing. But there are technologies that do exist that allow us to basically immobilize them or make them ineffective. That's one of the things that we're going to have to continue to develop, because they operate differently on different platforms, different sizes, altitudes, and capabilities, and each one of them often takes different requirements in order to make them ineffective or to bring them down. So unfortunately, this was an anticipated threat to the homeland that I personally wrote a master's thesis about this over 15 years ago in order to highlight this concern and develop things for the future. It's here, it's going to continue to grow, and we need to work very hard to outpace this threat.
Well, you wrote about this 15 years ago? That's remarkable in itself. Let me ask you, has it played out the way you did? Or maybe the better question is, what has surprised you 15 years later?
I think the only thing that I didn't capture then was the advent of artificial intelligence speeding up some things. But basically what I anticipated was what you're seeing with China, with mass production and cheap and lethal. With the technology that Israel developed that's proliferating just because of what they made other countries are noticing, and exactly what we're talking about today, which was the use of these drones by drug gangs and narco-terrorists on our border. Those were the three I highlighted, and each one of them is happening.
Wow, you saw the future. Colonel, thank you so much. We're going to stay in contact. Great stuff. Stay at it, okay? Thank you for your time.
Will do.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.